Hi, I'm Ali Zendrian, founder of AtoZ Communications, and this is the Brand Stories podcast. This is where we talk about everything related to public relations, marketing, and branding in general. This week, I'm incredibly excited to have Drew Boyer, founder of Boyer Financial Group, and perhaps more interestingly, the head of Sound Returns. He's taken his love of music and created an opportunity to share financial literacy and connect with his audience related to his love of music. Take a listen. Drew, I am so excited to have you on the podcast. It's been great to see your growth since the time that we've been working together, and I love everything that you've accomplished, which I really can't take any part of. So thank you for being fabulous and amazing.
That's not true, Ali. Come on. You've helped me out immensely. You've gotten me so many opportunities and got me at the at-bats, and then I've been able to get where I'm at now, so I appreciate you fully.
To knock them out of the park, which takes skill to do.
Try my best.
Good. Well, the first question that I ask everybody on this podcast is, what's your favorite brand and why?
This is a great question. I was trying to ponder on for a while. And being a musician and doing what I've been up to, I thought about it and I came up with Bose. I like their brand because I've bought I don't know how many different speakers. And I know there's all kinds of audiophiles out there that like to use all these different brands. I've been a Bose person since I think my parents got the sound acoustic thing back in the day. And I was like, wow, this music blew me away. The sound does. And so I've got every different kind of speaker they've got. I like how they've, you want to pay, like, what do they say? That price is what you pay, value is what you get. And so I feel like I've always gotten my value back on using Bose earbuds or a little sound speaker that's outside. And they've stayed pretty much in their lane. There's a few commercials that they do, but I've never seen any bad press from them ever. So that's my favorite brand.
I love it. Very, very well thought through. So first of all, getting to know you. So we met basically because you had your book coming out. Loved your book. If anybody hasn't read it yet, where have you been? But Hip Hop X Finance. So how did you decide that you wanted to mix something like hip hop with your financial background, which I'm sure some people think, what do those things even have in common?
What do they have in common? This is the question I've had to answer. But it's good because if you're not questioning it, then what does it mean? I got to rewind all the way back to like sixth grade when somebody gave a spastic child a pair of drumsticks, and I was able to take my energy out on drums and maybe sometimes frustrations. But I've always been into music of all types. One of the earliest memories that I've got where you become a rebellious teen is I brought home a cassette that I was not supposed to buy from Sir Mix-a-Lot. So Baby Got Back. And I remember vividly my mom's face when she put that in the cassette tape in the car. And it's like, oh my God, Becky. And then crashed it when I got it home. And so as they say, words have meaning. That was very impressionable to me. And that's when I found out, like, hey, there's something to this. I like the rebellious. If you study all types of music, there is unfortunately so many bad stories. There's a few good ones where people have made good money decisions. But I think hip hop, unfortunately, has the most glaring mistakes, flaunting. And when you go study these things, you find out that things were like rented or they bought them all and they went broke very quickly. So I wanted to use hip hop as like a medium to teach financial planning. More of like, hey, this person did this, but this is what they probably should have done. And then sharing the successes too. Going back to headphones, like Beats by Dre is a great story on investing in yourself, solving a problem that people had. And so there's the genesis story from iPods, which you could say wouldn't have happened without Napster, and then Dre solving a speaker problem. And so I found all these things so curious that I just started writing, and I wanted to put that out into a book, and I'm glad I've gotten it out.
So first of all, commenting on you saying that you're rebellious, when you meet you in person, it's like, you're rebellious? You are the most like even keeled, everything's great. And so it's so interesting to find out those kind of things about people. But secondly, with the book, so you also decided to get really personal. And so you don't just give financial advice in the, you should convert to a Roth IRA. You give your own personal details. How did you decide where the line was between, I don't want to share, how I got broke and this and that versus, I want to educate people?
I wanted to break the stigma that just because you're a financial advisor that you're doing all the perfect steps or that there's no learning process involved. Everybody's got to learn how to manage money. And a lot of times it's done in private, where I looked at music and that's something that we all share publicly. And so I was trying to marry those two ideas together. And yeah, at some point I was in like $100,000 of debt, which has become a really common thing for a lot of younger kids these days. I could say my assistant out front has a ton of student loan debt and trying to help her out. So trying to be at least empathetic towards that and share my own personal story that you just don't start here. It's down here first or in a hole as I found myself.
Yeah. Yeah, and I sympathize with that as well. So, yeah, you're right. It does seem like everybody's got it together. Nope, there's lots of warts and other things that we find. We just have a nice way of covering them up, I guess. But so how you have taken your financial planning, so Boyer Financial Group, which has been doing fabulously, and then now recently married that and created Sound Returns. If you don't mind telling everybody who hasn't experienced it yet what it is and why you decided to do it.
That the tagline's kind of turned into I'm trying to make money make sense. Somebody said, one of my clients, because I get to work with a lot of first responders, they're saying, hey, I like you because you talk to my head, not over it. And so I'm trying to connect with money and make things in this acronym laden industry that are almost everything. Explain what an IRA is. I was laughing like last year. I was like, what do you think an IRA is? When I said it to my wife, she's like, internal revenue. I'm like, close.
That's a good guess.
Yeah, it's good, right? You got to guess on all these things. So I'm just trying to like, here's a concept. Let's break it down and let's use somebody famous that you've heard of before, like what they went through. And so we're trying to make money make sense, one sound return at a time. I like the double, maybe almost triple entendre of sound returns. You're making good decisions and you're trying to make a return on life or investments. And so each week I'm trying to dissect a celebrity musician that you've heard of and go through like what have they been doing in their life, what struggles have they gone through, what taxes they pay, things that we all have to do. They just might have a few more zeros at the end of it. So it's Coachella week right now as we're recording this. And so I've got like Justin Bieber up, which has done really, really well in connecting with the younger generation right now. And then Sabrina Carpenter coming up. And then I got Michael Jackson for his movie. So I am trying to make this culturally relevant at the same time to try to bring eyeballs in and spread financial literacy.
So how did you figure out in the process that storytelling is so much more impactful than just giving somebody a one pager or them a PowerPoint or whatnot?
That's how people connect. When I'm sitting in a room with my clients one-on-one, there is a normal amount of time where like, how is your family? And here's something I can share what happened to me. I think it's really more impactful when somebody can understand what happened, not in an acronym, like how does it actually work in real life and apply it to themselves. That's why storytelling works so well.
Yeah. So I also give you credit. You are producing your own videos and putting the time and the effort into that content creation. I don't know if you saw, but recently Idea Decanter, which does video marketing for financial advisors, said that half of financial advisors aren't doing video. So, I mean, what makes you want to put in the time and the effort versus just saying, you know what, like I've got my clients, I'm good.
Yeah, true. I'm 20. I'm in my 23rd year, and when I started, I didn't think music had any place in finance at all. And within the last 2 years, since we started working together, and I did the book and doing sound returns now, I think it has even more relevance than ever. I do videos because about in 2019, I was at a conference and somebody said, you need to have a digital life, but also a physical life or a presence, maybe is a better way to put it. So your clients can feel engaged with you all the time. You can't talk to people all the time, but making a video is an easy way to get it out there. So I kind of embraced all this. And I was just talking about this at on a panel. And I said, when you get started, your first videos are like looking up here, like the 1980s pictures, where you're looking this way. And you have to get used to hearing your voice. I think that can be a holdback to certain advisors, but people just want to hear from you, and everybody is unique. I believe this. So share your story. And that's why I do what I do. 20 plus years in though, I'm doing the same thing over and over. I wanted to really be fully authentic and go into music and money. And I do it for the love of it right now. And I have clients that come in, they're like, hey, I like that last video, or I didn't like that one. And we talk about, well, what did you like or not like? Or, hey, I learned about QCDs from that one you put out, qualified charitable distributions, like in the weeds. So it brings people in with the topic to talk about. And I love doing it. So I think everybody should be.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine among the reasons that you should be doing it, and it's great that you are doing it, is that you're putting real credible financial advice out there versus some other people who might be talking out of their something or other. Does that fuel you or is that part of your thought process?
The only thing that it's a mildly annoying is when clients send me a link to a TikTok video and I press on it and it's financial advice and it looks like somebody just is living in their mom's basement and getting ready to yell for meatloaf. And I'm like, why would you send this to me? Are you not questioning? I mean, that's maybe a little too authentic right there. But
Yeah.
we in our industry have to be, we can't say certain things. Like you can't talk in absolutes or promise returns. And that kind of is annoying that you have people that are completely unlicensed that are giving out advice and people are just taking it and running with it. So I guess what I'm trying to do is at least put out something that's credible. I'm very open that I'm a CFP. I had to work for this. And I'm trying to put out real advice where there's no promises, but more concepts that you can apply in your real life to try to put some more truth out there.
So I give you credit for even thinking through the compliance aspect of it. How did you take the concept? Maybe it even happened before you started the book, and just understand like, okay, well, I can do this, I can't do that, and what's going to work for me.
That definitely helped. I have a broker dealer. I'm like a hybrid advisor. So I had to put like a 200-page book through compliance, and surprisingly, it didn't get flagged too often. And another thing I have learned to share for all the other advisors: if you just end a sentence with a question mark, you're not saying a statement. So you're just asking a question. And so I've had to learn how to wade around things and really deeply think about how to get an idea across because I can talk for quantity amounts of time, but people's attention spans like this. And so you have to distill things down. I think about compliance. I've had some practice, and you should always be doing that. You don't want to get sued.
Those financial stories that then you have to write about.
Don't be a cliche. Yes.
You work with primarily, you were saying, first responders. So from the music side of things, have you found anything in terms of, well, they don't like hip hop or they aren't responding to it? Or are you seeing more musically inclined people coming to you?
I think everybody loves music. If you don't, more power to you, but you probably don't have much to talk about with me. So everybody I know in my life loves some kind of music and it can be in different genres. And the book was just the starting point. So I get it if people aren't into hip hop, some people aren't, but they know who the people are because they've usually made pretty bad mistakes and you hear about it. And the idea with Sound Returns was just to kind of widen the funnel. Let's talk about not just hip hop, but some pop music, some country. I had not worked in classical yet. Somebody said I should do Mozart. I'm like, well, eventually I'll get there. But I am trying to hit mainstream sections that people can relate to. There's big dollar amounts there. It can draw you in. And we're in a celebrity obsessed culture. So I'm trying to take that approach on it currently.
Yeah.
But most people, even if they don't like a certain artist or a rapper, they still bring it up and they're asking me like, well, how did you do this? I saw this thing. How did that work out? I still got their attention, which is the point.
Absolutely. And speaking of getting their attention, so I don't think yet you've given yourself props for the fact that you spoke at Future Proof last year in Huntington Beach, California, one of the hottest financial conferences out there. And we're up on stage solo. So, I mean, kudos to you. But I also remember after that happened that you sort of had this gut feeling of, I have to do this. I have to blow the book up, basically, and do so much more with it. What was it about that experience that made you feel like now's the time and I'm on the right track?
Yeah, so I wish people could have. It's like the iceberg theory where you see like everything, but you don't see all the work that goes in. I probably over practiced for that because I was generally freaked out. I have no problem sharing that. I can talk pretty great in front of my comfort level is maybe 20 to 50 people. And you go to something like Future Proof, and in your mind, you're like, hey, there's gonna be 5,000 people here. They don't tell you what tent you're talking at. I did not think that I was going to be on the main stage, so that was a relief. But you don't know who is in the audience. I always have thought that the industry, when I've been to things, there's always the smartest person in the room where they're like, hey, that's not the right data. And you're going to like an analytical crowd. And so I had to make sure all my numbers were right and my delivery. And just honestly, I used to be a drummer and I had no problem being on stage, but I got to hide with everybody else on stage. I was never like a focal point. So going around there and just doing it and getting it over with, it was a great experience. And having people come up to me and say, hey, I love what you're doing with the music and money thing. Don't stop. I did have some people, clients, like I'm not into hip hop. So that's where I was like, what if I brought it out into every different genre? I will have unlimited amounts of material. And I needed to do that to get the message going and keep it going. That's what happened.
Love it. So now that you have Sound Returns, how do you want to see it grow, and what do you feel like would make that a success to you, and it perhaps already has achieved it?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me, I got this with the book. If someone writes me and says, hey, I read this and I did this because of you, perfect. That's all I want. That's the payback for me. I do find it more engaging with all the clients. That's a win. And I think people, when I stopped to get this booted up, when I took some time off in between, people are like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on?" I'm rethinking it and I need a break. Future Proof was a lot of work and doing something else last year. And so that's the goal, is just to spread education. And every once in a while, if I can get people talking about tax rates that normally wouldn't and think about what they're paying, that's what I want, is to get some kind of a conversation going that will lead to better outcomes for more people.
So last year you had media appearances back to back, really, at the New York Stock Exchange and at NASDAQ. As the guy who, you said you've been in this for 23 years, how do you feel like you've grown, and do you think that you could have told yourself that this would have been you way back when?
Number one, too, that was all you. I appreciate those reps that you got. I was genuinely, I didn't realize at that point that it was Times Square in the background. And I was so focused and being nervous that we were brought in like a group of cattle and you get like 5 minutes. That was surreal. Going to the stock exchange was amazing. I'd always seen it on TV. I'm in Ohio, so I've looked on the outside many times and never got on the inside. Those were two surreal moments that I had to pinch myself and say, life can be an adventure. It can be what you want to make it. But it was definitely checking a few boxes that were on my bucket list professionally to go do. Once you do them, I think if I do them again, my jitters won't be there that I was feeling. Just like if I'm ever back at another convention doing these things and conferences. Really, really cool to be able to attend these things and take part in them.
To plug, this guy is obviously the real deal. He should be on more conference stages. So please come find me and you will get Drew. And he is amazing. So please get him on more stages.
Thank you for the kind words. Thank you.
Of course. What do you feel like is next for you and for Sound Returns? Is there another iteration of this? Do you feel like this is where you're going to be for a little bit?
Yeah, I love the name. I love doing the challenge of it every week. Sometimes I'm like, why did I do this every week? Like most everybody. It's a challenge to be creative, and I'm a creative underneath doing the analytical stuff and math. And so I really enjoy doing it every week. I can fly around to different genres and it's quite the challenge, but I enjoy doing it. So I don't think I'm going to change doing that. I like the platform. It is interesting to see in a world of like attention spans going down, I can do like a LinkedIn newsletter and people will be willing to read for 5 minutes. But then you jump over to another social platform like Instagram or TikTok and you got like 3 seconds. And the challenge of getting a hook to get people to watch the rest and seeing what things play, I enjoy that a lot. So I plan on keeping doing this and get a little bit more balance in life this year than last year.
So I give you credit for doing all of it. So for any financial advisors who might be thinking to themselves, Drew's making this sound relatively easy, I feel like I want to give this a shot. How would you advise somebody who's like never done video before, or, never written a book, never blogged? How should they start?
Well, not everybody should write a book. And in hindsight, you might look back and if a lot of people start or have an idea, it's a big, I don't think that you need to do that. I think it's more impactful might be just getting your genuine and authentic self, having a voice, and how do you want to spin it for what people want to hear it. Getting that out, whether that's through writing or videos, are pretty easy. But like I said on this panel, just get started. Just get used to seeing yourself, to hearing yourself. You're probably going to be terrible when you start. And yes, you'll look back and laugh at that, but that's the process. You just have to go out and do it and get started, and you will get feedback back. And if you think no one's watching, everybody's watching. Just some people comment or like every once in a while. So just get started and find something that's uniquely you, and then just roll with it. For me, it was music. Don't try to copy me. Don't try to copy somebody else. Just be yourself.
Love it. Well, thank you for being such a great presence in the industry and for being so encouraging both of people's better personal financial life and of financial advisors owning who they are. You're an amazing person, and we're so lucky to have you.
And ditto back to you, Allie. Everybody works together, and this is what happens when beautiful things come together.
Yeah. I thank goodness you wrote that book, or I never would have found you.
I know, right? Yeah, and always reach out to people. That's how we met. Yep.